Hi everybody, David here with VR Render. In this video, I want to share with you the SketchUp collections that I think are the most useful. The SketchUp warehouse has a huge amount of assets, but they're of varying quality. And if you're just starting out in rendering or just starting out with SketchUp, it can be hard to know where to go to get really good collections, whether that's windows or decorative elements. I've been using SketchUp for many years now, and I'd like to share the places and collections that I use regularly. Now, this can be really useful if you're just starting out in SketchUp and you're not really sure where to go or which collections to like. And so we'll take a look at that. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, everybody, the first place I want to start with is Windows. And you may be wondering why, but if you're involved in architectural visualization or anything like that at all, you're probably going to have Windows in your scene. And so you really do want to have some of the best. Now, the first one I pulled up here is SketchUp. SketchUp does actually have a pile of window models that you can utilize, and I strongly recommend that you don't. I've found them extremely problematic to work with. They are, I believe, like live components, but I found them to be really difficult, and they tend to cause a lot of problems. Oftentimes, they also have inverted faces. In other words, faces that are flipped on the inside, which can lead to, if you're a Lumion user, a whole host of problems. So, quite simply, don't use these. Who should we use instead? Well, the first is Colby. Colby windows and doors. You can just search for them, Kolbe, and they will come up. You can see they have a huge variety of windows, and they're of an incredibly high quality. They do tend to come in oftentimes as components, so please be aware of that. But one thing you can do with a window or door or component that you can bring into SketchUp and you run into problems with, you can just right-click and keep exploding it until it can't explode anymore, and then you can make it a group. So that's one way you can circumnavigate that. But Colby has some of the best, most stunning windows out there. I use them all the time. I send my students to them all the time. And I just think the selection is really, really nice. The second group is Marvin. Now, you can see here, I'm going to click on Marvin's name here just to bring these up. And Marvin, I believe, is another building company. I think it's a window company, but they also have a huge selection of really, really nice windows. So you can see here, they do tend to come in as dynamic components. If you're not comfortable working with components or you're just not familiar with them, it's best to just keep exploding them until the object can't be exploded anymore. Right-click and make it a group. Yeah, I think these are just absolutely brilliant as well. Look at these. I think these are just really stunning windows and door models. They're great for a whole variety of different things. And I've used both of these companies, Marvin and Colby, quite a lot. And so have my students. I think they're a great resource for just windows and doors. So feel free to go ahead and bookmark those. And you can add that to your favorites list. What you can do generally for that is just go up here and you can just do the heart and then click this add to favorites button. All right, let's move on from windows. All right, moving on, let's talk about decorations. And there are a handful of collections that I utilize quite a bit and I think are worth bookmarking. The first is this Vitaly Robu Design, probably butchered that name, but they are an architect and interior designer. And again, I will link out to all of these so you can hopefully open them up in a browser or bookmark them. But if we take a look here at the collections, you can see there's some really, really fantastic stuff, especially if we scroll on down. Photos, paintings, just even the lamps collection is really brilliant here. And this is all just decorative stuff that you can add to your scenes. All right, that's really, really great. We also have Juan Orengo. Sorry if I butchered that as well. But we have collections here that are really, really good for decorative elements. We've got tons of different objects. You can see everything from books, flowers, some really, really nice stuff in here. And definitely worth just clicking on. Even just going to their models, you can see there's really nice decorative elements. A lot of us have used these books, I think. A lot of people have used this artwork as well. There's just some great stuff to be had. The last two on decoration is this Martha J. Commercial Interiors, Poland. And you can see if we scroll down here, they've got good selection of different assets, but over 600 objects in the decor tab alone, which is really brilliant. And the thing I love about this is she's collected some fantastic artwork and just some really nice decorative or sculptural elements. And these are the type of thing that really do make your scene look really nice. The artwork in particular is absolutely great, and the objects are really, really useful. I think it's just a great selection of modern interior design. Now, the last one I want to mention here is this is by Kate S. Again, I don't know any of these people. I'm not affiliated with any of them. They just have amazing collections on the warehouse. And Kate S has a really nice collection of different things here. But the one that really got me was this industrial furniture and accessories. So if we click on that, you can see these are just so good. I think it's a great resource, especially if you like doing industrial design or doing lofts or things like that. In fact, a lot of my students will often do interior designs using industrial design in particular, and I can kind of see why. It's accessible and it's very, very cool. And so Martha here has a great, great, great selection of really nice industrial objects, and I do think it's definitely worth checking out. All right, those are my top 4 for just decorative elements. Now, I want to point out, I'm going to pull up Care. So K-A-R-E. And we're going to go to, let's see, collections. I'm going to go to project. Collections. And if we go here to Care, it's sort of the joy of living is kind of their thing. I'm not sure what exactly Care is, but they do have a lot of really, really like large catalogs. Not really sure what their company does, but either way, it's really, really cool. And the reason I'm putting it in here is K-A-R-E, Care. They do have a huge amount of content in the SketchUp warehouse, and it actually crosses over like a lot of different things. Sideboards, tables, beds, mirrors, lighting. They're an amazing, amazing resource. Now, in terms of decoration, I've had mixed sort of results with some of their stuff. Some of their decoration is like really, really awesome. And some of it is just maybe just a little bit too low poly, and they're not really editable in the best way. But K-A-R-E is also really, really good. And if you're looking for something quirky or unusual, you'll probably find it there. One thing I will say, and this is something that I noticed this year doing projects with my students, was that their bed models I'm not a huge fan of. I don't think they're basically high poly enough. The photos here make them look really, really nice, but the actual models themselves are a little bit too basic, especially in comparison to maybe a bed from D5. So, if you're just sticking to SketchUp, or if you're maybe going to Lumion or Twinmotion, you might be able to get away with it. D5, probably not. I think the fidelity just isn't there. But suffice it to say, Care Design has this huge, huge amount of content and really worth bookmarking. If you can't find it anywhere else, you might find it here. All right, moving on to kind of chairs and furniture. There are 3 collections and I guess users that I really do want to shout out and mention. The first is this Salvatore, and again, I will link out to all of these. Again, not affiliated with any of these, but just this collection of objects is just absolutely brilliant. This is just some of the nicest and just kind of coolest looking objects. So if we click on, for example, this one here, this Bliss cabinet, this is the one that I have kind of bookmarked. There we go. I mean, I think these are just so good looking. I just think this collection of content is really, really stunning. I like the minimalist vibe of them. I think the stuff is just really, really, really nice. And look forward to using these in my next couple of projects. I just think they're really, really nice. Very cool. Now, the second is Lucas Design Associates. Again, don't know them, but absolutely love their stuff here. I have used content from Lucas Design Associates a lot. In fact, a lot of the VIA Render videos do actually feature content from them, especially their side tables, which I think are just so unbelievably cool looking, especially some of these, like this one, I've used this quite a bit. I think they're just really, really nice. I think they're the overall look and feel of their content is really good. I think they're a great crowd. And you can see they have a whole bunch of other stuff. It's not just chairs. It is, in fact, all different pieces of furniture. And I think they're really, really nice. Definitely go ahead and maybe check these out. Lucas Design Associates, very, very cool stuff. And some really, really nice models. And I think they're actually pretty good models that you may not find anywhere else. They may, in fact, be made by the Lucas Design Associates. I can't confirm that, but the stuff is just really, really good. Now, the last one I want to talk about on chairs is Ton, or Ton, Design. The thing I love about these is they're just so kind of quirky and kind of fun and different. And there's some really, really nice stuff here. And it's slightly different to a lot of what you're probably going to get in, like, for example, the D5 library or even Lumion or Twinmotion's library. Really, really nice looking pieces, and they're just fun. And there's a good chance you'll find something vivid and colorful and kind of enjoyable, or, kind of quirky, that you can put into your scenes. All right, so that's Salvatore, Lucas Design Associates, and Ton, Ton, Design. All right, let's move on, and we'll talk about the galleries of paintings that I think you might want to take a look at. Moving on to look at paintings, and if you're doing interiors, you probably are going to need these at some point, and you don't want to use the same interior paintings that come with D5 or those, basic pictures that come with Lumion or Twinmotion. You definitely want to grab unique or bespoke artwork to go with your shots. And there are 4 collections in the warehouse that I want to discuss and point out, and I think they're absolutely brilliant. The first is, sorry if I butcher this, Art Quadros. To my mind, this is just almost like the best collection of paintings. It's a brilliant collection, and I will link out to this as well. Look at this artwork. It's just incredibly good stuff. Amazing paintings, amazing pictures. If you need modern art, I think the colors, they're just an incredible, incredible selection. They even have some amazing photography work as well, and really quirky kind of pictures that are nice and fun. I just think these are brilliant. These are just an incredible collection of artwork. And I have used a lot of these in different things. And I think they're brilliant. I just think it's a great, great selection. You should find something to match whatever color scheme is going on in your interior builder design. The next one is La Touche Originale decoration for SketchUp. And if we click on that, and you can just find out a little bit about them there. But the thing that really got me here is not necessarily all of this stuff. It's this one here. These are effectively wallpapers. It's just an image, I believe, that you can bring on in. And I think it looks absolutely brilliant. I wish there was actually more of these. I think they're really fun. They're colorful. They do really well in certain rooms, like a kid's room, for example. I just think they're really nice looking wallpapers. And I haven't used them yet, but I will be doing a VRender video soon on how to create wallpapers and turn them into an actual material. And I think these are really brilliant. So there you go. And again, La Touche Originale, I'll link out to that. Now, the next one, if you've watched any of my VRender videos at all, you've probably seen some of these pictures. This is, I'm going to say, Simon Brodziak. I think he's Polish photographer. You can find a whole bunch of his photography on the warehouse. I hope it's official. I think his work is just so cool. It's really cool imagery. It just looks great. And I use his kind of pictures in the background of my stuff a lot. I think they're just brilliant. They're kind of cool and edgy and, sort of nice, but not like offensively edgy or anything like that. They're just kind of cool and sexy. And they're just cool looking artwork. Just cool photography. And I think they just work really, really well. Now, the last one that I want to talk about is Galleria 9. So I'm going to click here and go to collections. And again, Galleria 9, very nice. But what's really awesome is just the collection of artwork. This is the one that I've bookmarked here. And if I click on this, you can again bookmark by just adding these to your favorites. Just an unbelievably cool selection of photos, of prints, of pictures. And I think, you're going to find something for all of your shots in here. It's really, really cool. The geometric stuff is nice too as well. I don't use a huge amount of that, but it is just really great. It's just an unbelievable, vast gallery of beautiful content. This one's really nice. And so I think if you're going to use these, one thing you do need to be mindful of is if you plan on bringing these into a rendering engine, just be mindful that some of them are full 3D models that have a layer in front of the actual painting, which may be transferred or converted into a glass or reflective layer in your rendering engine. D5 will sometimes do that, as will Twinmotion and Lumion. So you may end up having to change these a little bit, but all in all, these paintings, these galleries, I think are just absolutely superb, and I hope you get some good use out of them. And a lot of props to the creators of these galleries. They're really, really brilliant. The second to last category that I want to look at is lighting, and I want to identify the collections and catalogs that I think are the best for lighting. And the first one I want to talk about is this. I am not even going to try and pronounce that. Yeah, you can read it right there. Absolutely some of the best lighting that I've come across. Just absolutely brilliant. If we go here to interior lighting, I'm going to try now Dvorsky. And click on their interior lighting tab. This is the one that I have bookmarked and added to my favorites. Look at these lights. They're absolutely cool. They're really beautiful, really, really stunning collections of stuff, and will work in a whole variety of scenes. I've used a lot of these, and my students like them as well. And these type of lights are really very, very, very cool. Yeah, I think this crowd has absolutely got some of just the best lights out there. I think they're really brilliant. If you're into bathrooms, look at all this really wonderful stuff. So this crowd here, Noah Dvorsky, lighting official. Again, I don't know anything about the company or where they're from or what they do or anything like that, but the collection of lighting here is just absolutely brilliant. The second one is one I mentioned before, Lucas Design Associates. Again, if we go back to their collections, they also have an amazing selection of lighting content, and it's just really, really good stuff. Consistently high quality models that go along with their furnishings. Now, the last one when it comes to lighting is actually a person, interior design from the Philippines, Charissa T. Again, I don't know this person. I'm not affiliated with them. But Charissa has some of the best collections of content, full stop, including tons and tons of lamps and lighting objects. I think it's a really great selection here, but also just tons and tons of other objects. Really brilliant, including, look at all this amazing like decorative content that she has set aside here. Really, really, really nice stuff. But when it comes to lighting, my go-to is going to be this first and foremost. This crowd, they have just the best lighting setup, and I really think you should go ahead and bookmark them. All right, I'm going to wrap it up really quickly, and I'm going to wrap it up just by looking at kind of a few just sort of like random other collections that I think are worth bookmarking. All right, everyone, you've reached pretty much the end of the video. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And if you've got any comments about this or any suggestions for really good collections within the warehouse, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. And again, thank you so much for watching. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is basically just some random things that I think you should kind of bookmark if you're using the warehouse at all. The first one is Uwitten. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but you can see, look at this fantastic collection of wood, particularly this collection right here of kind of 87 different models. And why I think these look so good is you don't get a huge amount of this sort of rattan style effect in a lot of rendering software. And I think this type of work is, it's kind of trendy at the moment to some degree, and probably has been for a few years now. But I think this stuff just looks so good. And you can happily change out this sort of look for a different wood material to make it look more realistic. But overall, just having access to these objects is really, really nice. They just look really, really nice. The next person that I want to mention is this right here. This is Max Ikovsky. And if you've been using SketchUp for a while or doing anything in 3D kind of for a while, especially with ArcViz, you may have come across his name. It's really, really cool. He's an architect. And how he's kind of done that's been really useful is the creation of these. These are circular sort of flat planes that are wrapped in a circle. They're really low poly, but they're a really great way to hide the horizon in your scenes. And especially if you're like a Lumion user, for example, you don't want to put like build the actual environment. You can just wrap one of these around your scene. They're absolutely brilliant, and you should use them a lot because the footprint is so low. They just makes life a joy to work with. And I think he's absolutely great. And I'm really glad that they're there. And a lot of people have kind of bookmarked and saved them, and justifiably so. Next one I want to mention is Vlado Jedic, because Vlado has some of the best kind of content, just overall, just general kind of content that I like. His lighting tab here that he has with his models, they're just so really, really, really cool. And also his chair models, just really cool and just trendy and different, and I like them quite a lot. There's nothing more to it than that. He's just got a fantabulous collection of assets. I think they're really, really great. The penultimate one I want to mention is also Natuzzi Italia. You can see here it's sort of a design company, I think. They also have some really wonderful, just random collections of stuff. I've used their rugs quite a lot. In fact, I think that I used their rugs when I did a D5 video on rugs. Really, really cool stuff. Just really nice designs. And their accessories tab is really, really nice too. So just random things that you may find very useful. Now, the last one I want to talk about, and to my mind, the person who singularly has the best collection in all of the warehouse right now, and this is the person I mentioned at the start, the best collection of all content in really the warehouse right now is this person. Rebecca is a student in Serbia. Shout out to Serbia. And I want to show you why. By the way, I don't know this person. I'm not affiliated. But she has probably the best collection of stuff in the warehouse. In fact, so many of my students this year, once I pointed this out to them, just used her models and used her stuff. They're absolutely brilliant. She has an amazing selection of art, paintings, objects, amazing selection of just everything that you're looking for, especially some of the chair content. Like, just all of this stuff is of incredibly high quality. It is without a doubt just one of the best resources right now, I think, on the warehouse. The assets that she's collected and put into her kind of collections are really, really brilliant. And honestly, this collection of stuff is my first go-to for grabbing things. In fact, I use this chair right here in another via render video. So yeah, go click on her stuff and add her all of the collections to your favorites, because right now, to my mind, it's definitely the best collection of content in the SketchUp warehouse. Okay, with that being said, I am going to go ahead and leave it there. Again, if you watched this video and you liked it, feel free to do the usual things. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.